So how did you get about doing this article about the echo chambers? Like how did the idea came out?
Yeah, so I was the editor-in-chief of Viewfinder magazine at Grandview at the time, and I really wanted to take on a feature piece that had meaning behind it, and something that was really prevalent, and it still is super prevalent right now in our society, is this concept of echo chambers, and how they, at the time that I wrote this, how it was affecting, the political environment, and still is today. But the election had recently happened, so that's kind of where it started. And I also have some family members who are caught up in their own personal little echo chamber, so that's also something that inspired me to write about it.
Oh, yeah. I think everyone at one point in time has fallen into an echo chamber of some sort. When did you actually write this article? Was it what was the date?
Started writing it, let's see, around the first issue of Viewfinder. The concept was pitched and I was like assigned the story, so I started researching it, listening to some podcasts that have some really good information. It didn't actually get published until our last issue of Viewfinder, which was, I believe, in December of 2020. So
yeah, I remember reading the article and looking at the date that it had, and it was like right after Congress, all that stuff happened in Congress. I'm like, wait a minute, how did she do this? So in your making of this article, you spoke with several people, for what I can tell, a couple of philosophy professors, and I like how you went to the root of the problem, which is not just social media and people, it's just the actual algorithms of the social medias that they use in order to get people to stay on their platform. And that's artificial intelligence. What's your take on artificial intelligence?
I guess I haven't given a lot of personal thought to, like, do I think it's, well, I guess I kind of have. I think there's a documentary called The Social Dilemma on Netflix.
Yep.
And it specifically looks into
Mm-hmm.
These social media platforms and their algorithms and how all of it started and where it's become now. And basically it addresses like how these echo chambers are formed and like the dangers that come from spending so much time on these apps and the way that the algorithms generate the content that you're consuming. And so I think it can be very dangerous. And I think that when it comes to, the concept of this stuff kind of taking over, I think the responsibility in that, to that extent, is like, if I am being indoctrinated by these things and if I'm concerned about it, then I need to personally examine my social media use and I think something about it. And I think it also is encouraging that since these issues have risen up recently in the media, apps have been taking steps to address the concerns, especially with the algorithms when it comes to echo chambers.
Yes.
So I don't think I'm as concerned about like Terminator, like I don't know, social intelligence, all of that happening.
Yep.
As much I think as people were even like last year. I think that good steps are being taken to combat it.
Oh yes, most definitely. The social media, the social dilemma documentary. I've watched that too. I had to watch it for one of my philosophy classes, and that guy was one of the designers of the algorithm that all the social media platforms use as a base, and yeah, it's kind of freaky. Like the stuff, like how they can manipulate your life, but you're right, at the same time there's a lot of things that they're doing about it, and also AI has done a lot of good at the same time. In the case of the echo chambers, it did the opposite. It caused quite the problem with the people. And I had a question for you. you wrote an example for during the presidential election in 2016 how someone had um, ran the news about uh, someone from the Clinton campaign running an active child sex ring out of a basement of a Washington D.C. pizzeria, and this guy went up to the pizzeria with his shotgun, rifle, whatever it was, and he was lock and loaded and like ready to go. I don't know if he shot it because I remember reading about that guy. I like how you present the problem and present some of the solutions to the problem that we have here with echo chambers, social media, and all this stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's sort of like uh, self policing up. You know what I mean? With the person. When do you think that does it stop? The people need to have a sense of like, okay, this is fake, this is not fake, or what can I trust, what can I not cannot trust. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think that is the most things. I mean, even especially having like I have loved ones who are believing in conspiracy theories like the Pizzagate that I wrote about
Mm-hmm.
right now, and they very much believe that these things are true because I think the root of it is they don't know how to discern reliable information from information from reliable sources. I could go I could make a video about how unicorns are real and put it on the internet, and it's whoever's watching it, it's their decision if they're going to believe it or not, if they're going to think that it's truth. And it's also hard because the people who are creating this content are so deceptive, and
Yes.
like it's presented as like, oh, this is true. And so I think that's also part of where it's that were like destructive and just devastating and unnecessary. A lot of the people who were there believed that there was this like bigger, greater thing going on, and it was like the QAnon stuff. And like, not to get political between like what is happening or what isn't happening, like a lot of people were injured and hurt that day,
Yeah.
and like a lot of unnecessary pain occurred because people believed things were happening that weren't actually happening.